Baby, y'all been asking me for my opinion on Taraji and everything that's been going on with her, but y'all sure y'all want me to get into it? Are y'all sure?
Let's talk about it.
Shawty, come and swing my way. We ain't gotta waste no time now, baby. Put that all in my face. I just wanna bump and grind on you, on you, on you, want you on my face, so shawty, come and swing my way.
Listen, I know y'all want to get to the tea, and baby, we will. But for those of y'all that's been living under a rock, baby, my name is Santana. I only been on YouTube since like 2016. Started off going viral, telling stories about my crazy life. A couple of years later, I started doing ratchet recipes, went viral on TikTok. Then I opened up a channel, Aligning Souls, where I was, using my spiritual and psychic gifts to help the girls and whip them back into alignment. In other words, baby, she's gifted. And see, now I'm here to share all of those gifts on one channel. So I mean, whether it's a deep dive, a commentary video, cooking, music, reading horoscopes, baby, if I want to upload a video of me picking my nose and breathing for 60 minutes, I'ma do it. My house, my rules. I mean, I just ask that y'all follow me over on Twitter so I can stop talking to myself. And before you go and try to seek help and seek therapy, baby, seek me. Go to my website and book yourself a personal reading if you need one. Now, feel free to sound off in the comments, but be respectful and act like you got that act right. Because, baby, while you trying to be funny, I'll be hilarious and take the show on the road every time. Now, this channel is for critical thinkers. We may not always agree. You may not always even like me. But one thing's for sure, your life will be changed after experiencing me. So subscribe. And if you can afford to take a quarter and throw it into a jar every day, and it's not going to leave you like homeless or destitute, baby, then you can afford the channel memberships. Go ahead and click that join button or go to Patreon. It's really your choice. Whatever you prefer, just give me them coins. Run me my coin. Nah, enough of me rambling, child. I think we made it past the part that was needed to get this video monetized, child. Nah, you do going. Nah. Let's get into it.
I want people to have fun. Let's kick back. Let's get into a little tea. Let's not get too crazy, but let's enjoy the sip.
But let's get to the chi-chi, the kiki, the internet bull.
What's going on, y'all? It's Scott Santana, aka Chi, and we are back for another Let's Talk About It. Cause girl, y'all been in my inbox, y'all been leaving comments, y'all been DMing, because y'all wanted my opinion on Miss Taraji P Henson. Now, everybody and their mama know by this point, because it's been going on literally at least over a month. I want to say like ever since December hit, once the Color Purple press tour started, that's when we started hearing so much about Taraji P Henson and her not being happy in terms of, honestly, her life, because I can go all the way back to the Angie Martinez video that she did, and that's also going to add to my opinion on what's going on. But I know everybody feeling away. People feeling like, oh my God, she need to be paid more. Oh my God, what's going on in Hollywood? Oh my God, it's so unfair how much Black people got to work. And y'all know, I think very differently. I don't go along with bandwagon thought. And it's not that I'm just trying to be so controversial and so different. It's just that my mind works different. My mind works differently. And I just come from a solution-oriented place, and y'all are gonna hear me mention Capricorn energy a lot within this because it definitely applies to Taraji. But as far as me, I'm a Capricorn rising, so Capricorn energy is just very much like Saturn ruled, about business and structure. And so I think I look at everything as a business. And if I have a business and I keep trying to put a certain plan into effect or make something successful and it's clear that it's not working, rather than sit and soak and be mad and curse people out about the fact that it's not working, I'm gonna find another solution to the problem. Point blank in a period, because I'm solution oriented, and the majority of people that live on this earth are not. And so even with this whole Taraji situation, even with this whole Hollywood and the way that they play Black women and the way that they pay just Black people, period, it's like, where's the solutions? Because I'm tired of hearing the same story. It's 2024. I'm tired of hearing the same shit that I've been hearing since 1980. I'm tired. But before we go ahead and get into my opinion, of course, y'all know we got to get into the backstory. Just a little bit, just a tad bit. Because like I said, by this point, a lot of this ish is old. And I don't really too much care about the backstory because my opinion still remains the same. But go ahead and like this video.
Who the fuck won't roll with the queen? Who the fuck guessing these hoes take a pee? Tell you every time I slide on the beat. None of these bitches is touching you. She's a fine, she's a dime. To these hoes, it's a crime. She got shine, she got rhyme, she got moolah on her mind. She's a fine, she that bitch in a prime. Wanna grind, wanna time. Take a number, get it line, ho. Walk it out, hey, bitch better walk it out. Walk it out, hey, bitch better walk it out. She's a fine, she that bitch in a prime. Wanna grind, wanna time. Take a number, get it line, ho.
Okay, so before we get into this article, let me see. Okay. Before we go ahead, no, actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and get into this article and then I'll bring up the TikToks later. So, and again, we're not getting into the whole backstory because I don't care. I really don't. And I don't mean to sound heartless, but when we get into it, y'all will understand why. But the headline says the math ain't math, and mind you, this was on December 20th. Okay. Taraji P Henson spoke on inequality and emotional video. Now, she was candidly speaking about the salary gap in Hollywood while expressing her frustration over being paid a fraction of what white actors are earning. Now, Taraji's career spans more than 2 decades in Hollywood, having starred in, The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, Hidden Figures, Karate Kid. But in a recent interview with Gayle King, the actress said that she was continuing to fight for equal pay in the film industry because she felt like she wasn't receiving equitable compensation despite having comparable or even more impressive resumes than some of her white co-stars. Now, see, that's point blank in a period where I'm about to stop it. I'm about to stop it right there. First off, you don't. Second off, you know this. Third off, you still decided to go to Hollywood. Enjoy. Like I don't understand. It's like all of these, and I'm gonna do a commentary video one day, but it's like all of these places that are going viral, or all of these businesses, black-owned businesses that's going viral on TikTok, right? Like y'all see what the state of black hairstylist culture looks like now, but yet y'all keep going to these raggedy ass ends trying to get a different experience, and it's like, what are you not understanding? Or even if we're not even talking about the black hairstylists, let's talk about these degenerate ass niggas like the Halle Baileys of the world. Like, y'all are getting with these degenerate ass niggas expecting a different experience. Like, y'all ignore the red flags, you ignore the Yelp reviews, and then you expect to come in and have a different experience. It's just not going to work. So I'm sorry. Just like I would tell a teacher the same thing. It's 2024. You know damn well that nowadays in 2024, these kids is whooping on your ass, okay? That the pay is not worth it, okay? That you sitting here working 12 months or you working 10 months but only getting paid for 5. Like, you already know all of this. And if you still decide to choose to pursue that lane because that's your soul mission from God and it's bigger than you and it's bigger than your talent. But, because here's the thing, when you have a talent, it's not about you. Having talent is actually a very selfless thing because it's a gift that you're meant to share with the world and heal the world. It's not about you. And so that's the part that I feel like a lot of people are missing. That's the child. I ended up pausing this and forgot what the hell I was saying. I paused this like 15 minutes ago and forgot what the hell I was saying. So we're just gonna keep going. So Taraji P Henson considered quitting Hollywood after being asked about the rumors of potential retirement from acting. She gave an emotional response. I'm just tired of working so hard, being gracious at what I do, and getting paid a fraction of the cost. Listen, I honestly don't care about any of this. Let's just go ahead and jump into the point. Listen, Mercury was retrograde during the month of December. Okay, Mercury was retrograde during the month of December. I'm not even about to go and find the exact dates because honestly, it don't even matter. But it was probably like the first week it went retrograde, and Mercury retrograde usually lasts 3 weeks, and I believe that it ended around the New Year's Day. So it started off in Capricorn, and then it back spun into the sign of Sagittarius. Now, why does this matter? I'll give you an example. So me, I'm a Capricorn rising. I have a Saturn rule chart, Capricorn rule chart, and Mercury was retrograde through my first house. So it was a lot of like identity things coming up, like a lot of that coming up. And then Mercury
had backspun into Sagittarius, which is in my 11th house of friendships and like 12th house of like endings and things like that. And so basically my type of Mercury retrograde, aside from like the typical, losing your phone and maybe losing money, maybe miscommunication issues and things like that, being that Mercury was retrograde in my 11th house of friendships and social networks and 12th house of endings, it was a lot of reflecting on just kind of like my journey throughout the year, and friends that had came and gone, and just kind of like a new year, new me. If we haven't spoken before the new year, don't contact me type of tip. Okay. But I say all of that to say Mercury is the planet of communication. And whenever a planet is retrograde, it becomes introspective, right? So Mercury was going retrograde inside of Taraji P Henson's fifth house. Now, the fifth house is all about dating, it's all about romance, but it's also about entertainment. So, usually, when you see a celebrity, whether they're an actor, a singer, a writer, a dancer, whatever, they usually have a very active fifth house. And Taraji P has Capricorn in her fifth house because, again, the fifth house is all about entertainment and the arts. So, just one more time to repeat, when Mercury goes retrograde, you internalize lessons depending on where Capricorn, or more so where whatever sign Mercury is transiting, sits at in your natal house. So Mercury was retrograde in her fifth house, which means that she was thinking back to all of the times where basically her whole Hollywood career, honestly, because she works in the entertainment industry. And so Mercury's cap is going retrograde inside of her fifth house of entertainment. So she's thinking back to her whole career, her whole legacy, her worth, how much she's been paid. Is she having fun? Really, honestly and truly, am I having fun? Am I being valued? And those were the things that was coming up for her. And once I took a look at her natal chart and I realized that, I was like, okay, well, this makes complete sense. But another reason why I wasn't getting so hung up over over Taraji and all of this is because I watched the interview that she did with Angie Martinez earlier this year. She sat down with Angie Martinez and she
How happy are you?
I don't know, to be quite honest.
Why?
I thought I was happy, but the things that I thought, I'm gonna get emotional. I don't want to. The things that I thought was making me happy, they don't cut it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm in a place where what does that look like?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm kind of spinning. And to be quite honest with you, Angie, I haven't been happy, like purely happy, in a long time.
Oh, give me your hand.
I haven't.
I'm sorry,
I'm not, because it's just a wake-up call.
Miss Henson.
I'm about to go to Bali for a month by myself. It's my own spiritual journey.
I love this for you. Tell me about this.
I gotta find my happiness. And it's not in my friends, it's not in my mama, it's not in, it's me. It's me. And this is the work I gotta do.
How happy are you?
Now, that's huge because this interview came 2 years ago. It happened in 2022. Now, the reason why this is such a big deal is because, like I said, the fifth house is literally the house of happiness. It's the childlike house. It's what you would look at and consider to be like a young child that's carefree, that's, full of like bravery and honesty and youthfulness and all of that. It's like where your natural joy comes from, which again is why a lot of celebrities and artists and singers have like a lot of like placements inside of their fifth house, because that's what gives them their creativity, right? It's the house of Leo energy, basically. It's ruled by Leo. Any Leo that you can think of is very in your face, very brash, very soulful, just full of heart, full of life. Like, that's what it is. It's the most passionate house. Now, here's the thing. The last like 6-7 years since like 2017, the reason why life has been hell on earth is because we've been experiencing a lot of transits in Capricorn, right? A lot of transits in Capricorn. We had Saturn in Capricorn. We had Pluto that was in Capricorn for a long ass time. Mind you, Pluto is the planet of like life and death and transformations. And Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, which is all about boundaries, about structure, about governments, about think of it like the strict father. I always tell y'all that, give that example. It's like the strict father. It's like a head of an organization, like the president, but like really, really strict, really, really stern. Again, all about karma, all about just like boundaries and restrictions and all of that. And so this is why since 2017, it's been feeling like life in this earth has just been like in a pressure cooker, because wherever you have Capricorn in your chart, that's where you've been affected. So for me, my whole chart is ruled by Capricorn because I have Capricorn in my first house. I'm a Capricorn rising. So literally my entire freaking life was affected, right? Some of you guys might have Capricorn in like your fourth house. So maybe there was a lot of transformation and growth within like your home life. Maybe you have Capricorn in your second house. Maybe there was a lot of transformation since 2017 in terms of like your finances. Maybe a lot of money came in, a lot of money came out. You know, maybe if it's in your third house, maybe a lot of transformation with, you know, relatives or neighbors or short distance travel. You know, if it was in fifth house, like for Taraji P, she's been trying to find her happiness for the longest time. And it's been like Pluto has been in Capricorn, I believe, since like 2008, if I'm not mistaken, or 2012. Don't get so caught up on the specific dates, but just know, like, Pluto was in Capricorn for a long time, either since 2008 or 2012. And that's like really when this unhappiness thing started for her. But like, again, especially since 2017, when the bulk of the planets were all transiting Capricorn, that's when things really started getting hectic. So again, how everybody's like now on TikTok and social media, like, oh, I wish we could go back to 2016. That's when music was good. Or that's when we had the best summer. You know, everything went downhill before the pandemic, but definitely like in 2017, da, 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 da. That's that Capricorn energy. So relating that back to Taraji, again, she has that in her fifth house. So she was already like, the universe was already on her to find her happiness and find what makes her happy. Everybody in this life has things that they're breaking away from. Like, who you come into as in this life is not necessarily who you're going to be, because for one, there's human conditioning, there's social conditioning, then there's the conditioning that gets placed on you as a woman, then the conditioning that gets placed on you as a black person, then the conditioning that gets placed on you as a black woman, then there's the conditions that gets placed on you as a black woman or a black person within Hollywood. So all of this, that, and a third. And so what ends up happening with a lot of artists is that while we all have this gift, everybody wants to be an actress or a celebrity or a singer for different reasons. It's like you start off like, oh, I want to make the money, I want the views, the fame, I want this, that, and the third. And then you cannot outrun the universe. You cannot. If you're not living your authentic truth, that is when you start getting depressed and unhappy, because that's the universe's way of telling you, hey, something is not right. Just like how you can tell when your body's getting sick if you pay attention to your body and you truly know your body, the universe is giving you red flags that something is not right. And usually a depression is a sign of that. It's the very clear telltale sign of that. And so when she says, I have not been happy in a long time, it's because you are pursuing things, but from the wrong perspective, right? It's possible that, and I could sit and do a whole deep dive natal chart on her right now. I don't want to. Usually I would, but I don't want to with this topic. But there's something within her natal chart that makes her like, there's some sort of goal, some sort of idea, some sort of vision. Doesn't really matter what it is. Just know that it's not aligned to where she's supposed to be. So whether she was chasing fame or chasing money out of greed or doing it out of lack or scarcity mindset, whatever it is, yes, sure, she got to her career. Yes, sure, she got to being in the movies and whatnot, but it did not fulfill her. It did not make her happy. So the reason why she's saying she has not been happy in a long time, again, it's the universe letting her know, yo, something is off. You're not following your soul mission. You're not here doing what you're supposed to be doing. And I'm going to say this, and then I'm going to get off the topic. But even with C19, hate that a lot of people lost their lives, but also there was some spiritual shit going on in the midst of that. I will put it like this, and either you will get it or you won't. Some people die of natural causes. Some people die earlier than they should. And then sometimes if you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing here on Earth, and the universe has pretty much had it up to here with you, you're not trying to win the game, so let's just eliminate you. And that's a deeper conversation for a deeper video. But this is why I say, and this is why I'm so passionate about commentary and mixing spirituality with commentary, because I feel like spirituality and astrology and all of this stuff needs to be a little bit more mainstream, because depression is a telltale sign that you have to work on shit. And a lot of people don't want to come home and sit between those four walls and do the shadow work. Everybody wants the paycheck, but nobody wants to do the shadow work. That's not how it works. It's not. And the universe has been on her because she's been pursuing something that was not aligned with her. And so when you have all of these transits that's going through your fifth house of joy, happiness, and entertainment, and you're in the entertainment business, you still kind of pushing it to the side. Yes, she went on her spiritual retreat. Yeah, that was supposed to help. Da 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 da. Cool. Now, here it is a year later, and you have Mercury, which is the planet of communication, and Mercury will bring up things, like it will bring up challenges and situations to see if you've learned. Okay. That's literally what Mercury is. It's like a pop quiz. It's like a test. It's an exam. And so now Mercury is basically retrograde and in that same house that you had to learn all of these lessons. And so that's why you saw her crying a lot and this, that, and the third and whatnot. So that's the astrology back part of it, right? Now, moving on from that, I do feel like there was some issues between her and Oprah. I do. I do feel like at some point Oprah tried to do damage control with an interview that they said it was already filmed or whatever. Okay, whatever. The interview that dropped on January 6th, I didn't pay attention to it. I didn't look at it. I don't care. I feel like this. Yes. In this world, white people are paid way differently than black people. But at the end of the day, y'all spend more time mad at white people than y'all do at the black people that can help change that. I'm not getting mad at a Paramount. I'm not getting mad at a Warner Brothers. I'm not getting mad at any of these old white people when this nigga sitting right here with Diddy money, with Tyler Perry money, with Oprah money. You know what I'm saying? With Jay-Z money that can literally help change some of our lives as black creators. I'm gonna look to my own before I look outside. That's how I feel about it. That's how I feel about it. Y'all want to sit and argue all day? Oh, they need to pay. Okay, but they not though. And they haven't been. So what's next? Because again, I'm solution oriented. And again, that's why I said that in the beginning, that we was going to talk about Capricorn energy a lot. And I told you I'm a Capricorn rising, and Capricorn energy is about like, okay, what's the solution? That's why if y'all, any of y'all know a Capricorn or somebody with Capricorn placements, they probably aren't very emotional. They're probably more like while you sit there and cry, they just looking at you like, girl, are you done? Because Capricorn energy is very much, it's very grounded. It's earth energy. It's like literally the most practical out of all of the earth signs. It's very much like, okay, you're going to sit there and cry, or like, we're going to work and find a solution. And so when you have Mercury going retrograde in Capricorn in your fifth house where you're unhappy, however you've been working has not been practical, has not worked for you. So instead of sitting here crying, like, girl, what are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? What's the next step? What's the next solution? Like, what are we doing? Because what you have been doing has not been working. And now it's time for you to realize that and see that, like, what are we doing? And then aside from all of that too, because I'm trying to make sure I hit every point, but like keep this video short because I don't want to be here forever on this topic. Aside from that, another thing that I was saying that people were saying was Monique versus Taraji P Henson. Listen, you get farther being liked than you do with being qualified. It just is what it is. People did not like Monique. Monique was deemed difficult. Monique carries around her husband and calls him daddy, and he is difficult, and she did come off as difficult, and it is what it is. Their sentiments could have been all the well, similar, whatever, but Monique was on a selfish agenda. She brought in Amy Schumer, made it about Amy Schumer, a direct comparison, whereas Taraji kept everything open. That's the difference. And plus, people like Taraji more than they did Monique. That's a simple difference. Point blank in the period. You get farther being liked than you do being qualified. And it just is what it is. That's the unfair reality that we live in. And then aside from all of that too, like I said, I'm not the type to go and look for a handout from the white people. Bitch, like Oprah, Tyler Perry, y'all need to be doing more. Y'all need to be doing more. Again, this is why I'm always say, When y'all mention protect Black women and Black excellence and Black magic, all of that shit is illusions and bullshit. Because everybody that y'all saying is qualified to be included in Black excellence ain't doing a damn excellent thing to help out other Black people. Please make that make sense. How is it Black excellence if you're not passing some of that back? If you're not keeping the door open for others? And yeah, I know. I heard when Tyler Perry said, oh, he paid Taraji more than she was ever paid. Okay, but did you pay her what she was worth? Huh? Because paying me more than I've gotten at my last job is not the same as paying me my worth. Because I could be worth $10 million, but just because you saw me get $200 and you offer me $300 doesn't mean that you paying me equally either. That just means you paid me more than the last person. But y'all both still getting over on me. So, let's talk about that. And while we on the subject of worth, Taraji, baby, and creators just like her, understand that there's a difference between personal worth and street worth. Like, there's a difference between what your personal value is and then what your street market value is. Complete difference. You might personally value yourself higher than where you should be. But then you also got to consider, okay, what is your value compared to the demographic and the analytics of other people like you, right? Now, she did Benjamin Button. She did a couple of other movies where, yes, I will agree, her pay should have definitely went up. It should have changed. It should have put her completely into a different department. But here's what y'all got to understand, especially being Black in the industries and shit like this. Performing for BET and doing these little Tyler Perry movies just to make a quick little check, it don't get you nowhere. And I literally just left a comment last night because somebody, I read every single comment that y'all leave me. And then if I don't agree or if I don't feel like cursing you out, I just put ... or okay. Chat. Listen. But I read every single comment. And somebody left a comment basically like, why would Mariah Lynn go from Love and Hip Hop to Zeus? And basically I responded like, Zeus Network pays way better than Love and Hip Hop. Love and Hip Hop, they was getting pennies to $1, maybe like 2,000. Whereas on Zeus Network, you get like 20,000, 200,000. But the thing is that here, listen, Black people only care about money. And that's where we always fall. That's always going to be our detriment. That's always where chaos is going to start. Look at everything that's going on with Zeus Network now and the destruction of that network. And it's all because of greed. It's all because of money. And I get it. Yeah, we come from not having and this, that, and the third. But that scarcity mindset is going to be what fucks you up. And it's what be fucking up a lot of entertainers, right? Because they want to be in Hollywood. They want to be famous. They want to be a star. They want to be in movies. Come on, Pussycat Dolls. They want to be out there, right? Doing what their talent is, doing what their gift is. But by any means, they want to do it. And then nobody wants to be a struggling creator, even though that's the path a lot of us have to take. It gets to a point where it's like, damn, I want to do this job. I don't want to have to go back to work a 9 to 5. Like, I got to take this job. Like, I got to do something to find money. And so what usually ends up being easy to find money is doing shit on the chicken circuit, like Tyler Perry plays, Tyler Perry movies, BET movies, Tubi movies. And that's all good, well, fine, and dandy. Because you got to go do that. You got to go do a Tyler Perry or a BET or Tubi movie because you're not trying to go homeless and you're trying to make sure you put food on the table. That's cute. But understand that when you're trying to build a career in Hollywood, that all of that little nigga shit, all of that little Black, low budget, low vibrational shit that you're doing, it does affect where you're trying to go. It just does. It just does. It just does. And yes, race is involved. But look at it this way. It's like you are trying to make it to Hell's Kitchen or Master Chef and you want to be like assistant Gordon Ramsay, but yet instead of going and trying to get your foot in at some of these 5-star restaurants, you focused on being the head manager at McDonald's. And y'all would probably think like, well, bitch, it's food. It's food, right? Like, food is food. Just move it up. Food is food. Experience is experience. Working in a restaurant is working in a restaurant. It's not, though. It's not. It's not. It's not. It's really not. That's why with the girl, I was like, listen, Mariah Lynn going from VH1 to Zeus is a step down. Yeah, you making way more money, but it's less of a benefit because Zeus is pocketing all of that money. Zeus is not interested in expanding and becoming a bigger network outside of an app. They're not interested in getting stock on television and becoming nationally syndicated. Like, they're not interested in none of that. They're interested in just taking that money and spending it on Dubai trips. They don't even take that money and put it back into their shows. So you don't really profit outside of the check. And then now you have this stain on your career that I've worked with Zeus. I've worked with this ghetto ass, ratchet ass entertainment company, and now nobody wants to work with you. And it's the same exact thing with Taraji, and y'all are not being honest about this. It doesn't mean that once you start working with BET and Tubi and Tyler Perry that you're not going to have a career, but it does box you in, though. It does. It does. Tyler is really the one that's benefiting the most. He's making all of the billions of dollars and this, that, and the third. But once you start doing them chicken circuit, them things, like, she should have been lucky that she got an Empire. She should have been lucky that she got Benjamin Button. But once you get those roles, it should be up from there. Now, I did hear somewhere that she was expecting more roles to come in. She was expecting like a Cookie spinoff. And once that didn't happen, she fired her team. I agree with all of that. Okay. So it wasn't like she, did Tyler Perry, then elevated to Fox and did Empire, and then just decided, okay, I'm about to go back to Tubi. Like, it wasn't like that. So I understand that, and I agree with that. And her team did fail her and all of that. This is when astrology and spirituality and all of that comes back into play, because again, you are on the universe to carry out your divine mission. If you are not carrying out your mission, the universe is going to throw roadblocks into your way. You have all of this talent and these gifts. It's not for you. Yeah, you got this luxury lifestyle. Yeah, you working all of these jobs. Yeah, you on TV, but it's not for you. So again, that's when I would sit Taraji down and be like, let's get to the root of why you're unhappy. Like, if I was doing an alignment reading with her, already knowing what the problem is, I'd be like, okay, what is it that motivates you in terms of your career? Because clearly something is off, and that is why the universe is putting roadblocks into your way. Because for you to go on and have a spinoff, a Cookie spinoff, for you to go off and have all of these Hollywood accolades and make all of this money and this, that, and the third, and this is not even talking about whether or not she deserves it, but for you to do all of that, that is a blessing from the universe. But clearly the universe is keeping you from reaching those blessings, because clearly something is going on with you that is blocking you from advancing. And the universe is looking at you and basically feeling like, why are we going to reward you and help send you to the next level when you have not aced this level yet? Something here you're not getting. So whether it's greed that's pushing you and motivating you, or whether it's scarcity that's pushing you and motivating you, or whether or not you're probably not even supposed to be having an entertainment career anymore. Maybe it's time for you to pull a Kim Kardashian and switch over and become a lawyer. That could be, like, whatever it is, it's clearly something to take a look at. So that's what I would do if I was sitting with her and doing like an alignment therapy session. Like, clearly it's something. But y'all can sit and say, oh, she deserves it. That's not the way that the fucking industry works. It's not realistic, babe. It's not. And at the end of the day, before y'all get on these white people, y'all need to be getting on these black people. Get on Tyler Perry, get on Oprah, get on, all of these other motherfuckers that got billions in their goddamn pocket that could actually change and make a goddamn difference. But instead, they do like Oprah and have the Oppressed Women's Network, aka the OWN Network, where you put on nothing but degenerate niggas and women that's desperate over fucking dick. Like, how many more seasons of Ready to Love is we about to have? Like, it's literally giving black version of Love to Lock Up. Is literally given the black version of Life After Lockup. Like, how many more seasons of Ready to Love is we about to have? How many more Love and Marriage Huntsvilles, Love and Marriage Alabamas is we about to have? I don't know. I feel like with Taraji, it's a combination of a whole bunch of things. Some astrological spirituality shit going on. I also feel like, again, don't just look to the white people, look to Oprah, look to them. I do feel like to compare her to Meryl Streep and all of these white actresses, it's that's never going to be fair, and it's never going to be right or justified, because it's two different things. And then I do feel like also too, you do have to be accountable for the jobs that you are forced to take because you don't want to be homeless or you want to make sure you have food to eat. Like, you can't keep taking the Tyler Perry jobs and the Tubi jobs and this, that, and the third, and then expect to ever have your pay get bigger. Or because once people know that you're willing to work for 35,000 or whatever the rate is that she said, 150,000 or whatever, they're gonna keep you at that. They're gonna keep you at that. And then aside from that, just to bring the astrology portion back into it, again, it could be the universe keeping you there for a reason. Like, even when I think back to me, when I had my Storytime channel, and I always mention how, hell, I even did a whole intro talking about, a little bit about my background. But I always mention how, I bounced around my Pluto and Scorpio 10th house. I've bounced around, created different careers, different lanes, and constantly had to rebuild, tear down, start all over. But the one thing that has remained constant for me is that the second that I see that the audience is shifting, whether it's people no longer care or no longer are invested, or I'm no longer receiving money, or that like the overall income is changing, I know it's time for me to go. I know it's time for me to go. Because I started off doing graphic and web design. When I finished with that, I started doing entertainment and story times. Then when I finished with that, I did the spirituality. Then when I finished with that, I came back over here. But the common thread throughout all of that was that once I started seeing that the income was changing and I could no longer support myself, I knew it was time to pivot. And so if Taraji feels like she's being boxed in and at a certain rate, and this has been going on for so long, again, I'm telling y'all, it's something deeper there. And y'all gonna see her do an interview later on where she's either like, I realized I was no longer meant to act. I was meant to be like a director. I was meant to start my own company. Or like, there's going to be some sort of interview that she does later on when she finally gets it, where she's going to have an epiphany of what she was really supposed to be doing. Like, it's given Tiana Taylor. After Kanye played in Tiana Taylor's face, kept her album hostage, and then now, Tiana Taylor tries to put out music. It ain't really selling like that. So then she did like the last Concrete Rose tour, and then all of a sudden Tiana Taylor became Spike Lee. Okay, Spike Tiana. And now she's directing and helping all the new artists because she had an epiphany like, oh, my gifts were supposed to get me here, but now I'm at the point where I'm supposed to transition on. That's where Taraji is stuck. So with a lot of these conversations, again, that's why I'm glad that I'm able to give commentary, because, and y'all gonna see it when I get into my bag with the Cat Williams shit. It's like, this is bigger than the headlines and bigger than, oh, Oprah just didn't want to pay. Oh, da, da, da. No, the universe is literally talking to this girl, saying that you need to pivot. And I'm telling y'all, mark my words, we're gonna see an interview from Taraji. I don't know when. It could be this year, it could be next year, it could be in 5 years, but we're gonna see some sort of interview where she has an epiphany, where she talks about how she had an epiphany that things needed to change. I don't know what that change is. We could possibly see her get into directing. We could possibly see her taking her money and get into teaching. We could see her, taking her money and get into starting her own independent films. But it's something, and it's something big. Like, it's a huge career shift for Taraji. She's not meant to stay in the same box. She's not. She's not. The last 12 years was for her to change. Pluto was in Capricorn in 2008 till now. The last 12 years was to transform her and to force her to change. She gonna get it soon. She gonna get it soon. She gonna get it. She gonna get it. She gonna get it. She gonna get it. I promise y'all. She about to be a director. She gonna get it. But her whole approach is about to be different. And that's if she gets the lesson before depression takes over. I'm not wishing anything on a girl, but we got to start being realistic when we have these conversations. I can't speak half the truth and not the full truth. Sometimes it does get to a point to where some people don't ever realize what the universe needs from them or what their mission is. And then that sadness overtakes them. And then they can wind up drinking or overdosing or doing something to where they're no longer here. Or the universe can come in and say, okay, time's up. That's just the reality of it, y'all. So I would bookmark this video if I was you. I would bookmark this video if I was you, because I feel like it's going to be soon. It's going to be soon, but it's definitely it. But at least over the next 10 years. But she gonna realize, and hopefully soon enough. Okay, so let me know what y'all thought about all of this down in the comment box below. I could definitely see Taraji becoming like a director, and it's not like it would be the first time. There's been other actresses that have done it. Tasha, you know, the loudmouth one from Tyler Perry, she's done it. She opened up a school of acting that's extremely successful. Okay, and she helps other people, and I feel like the universe has been on Taraji to do something like that. Now, it could also be that Taraji is now meant to be a voice of the people. Actually, let me see if I can figure out where Aquarius is in her chart real quick without having to bring up her full chart. Let's see. Oh yeah, her moon is in Capricorn too. That makes a lot of sense. And her north node is in Pisces. Wow. And her Chiron is in Aries. Okay. Yeah, so she got the north node transiting over her natal Chiron. So that makes a lot of sense as well, with the insecurities and the constant emotions. Yep. So I would look out, honestly, around the eclipses. Whenever eclipses happen, that's when I would look out for some things that could happen for her or happen with her. If I could just get her rising sign, like, let me get something, because I'm not trying to look up her whole entire chart. Okay, so she's a rising Leo. That makes sense. She's a rising Leo, and she has the moon in her fifth house, because moon is all about emotions. And so when you have the moon in your fifth house of entertainment and happiness, it's like your emotions is what moves you to basically entertain. And if you are already being saddened, like if you're already depressed and work is making you depressed and you need your emotions for work, outside of the fact that yeah, she's an actor and obviously she needs her emotions for work, but like when you have the moon in your fifth house, it basically means like, for one, yeah, you would make a great actor because you can use your emotions to emote and act and entertain. But it's like, in order to entertain, your emotions have to be involved. I don't know if that makes sense or if that's going to go over your heads, but like, think of it like the energy is amplified. Put it that way. But she's a rising Leo, which means like she has to be seen, like has to be seen, has to be in front of the camera. Me, attention on me. But like again, with that fifth house energy, with the moon being there, it's just like, but I don't feel it. I don't feel it. It's like I need to be seen. It's part of me. It's part of my destiny. I need to be seen. I need to be out there, but I just don't feel it. Like I'm not connected. Let me see. What does she have Aquarius? So she has Aquarius in her 6th and 7th house. Okay, so she has Aquarius on her 6th and 7th house. 6th house is all about health and everyday work, and 7th house is all about relationships. So it's possible. It's possible that she could go into some sort of, because I don't know why I'm thinking like conversion therapy, but I don't know why that came to my mind. I feel like it was a download. She could be converting her art into therapy in some sort of way. And essentially, that's what your job is to do as an actor. But like, given the experiences that she's had over the last 12 years, I do feel like she's going to convert her art and like what she's been through into some sort of therapy. So I don't know if it's like one-to-one coaching that she could go into, where it's just like, you know, becoming like an acting coach maybe, or maybe like really having like a school where she teaches other people or something like that. But yeah, that can most definitely become the next phase for her. Let me just double check this. Okay. I'm just going through her chart real quick just to make sure there's nothing else I want to point out. MC and Taurus. So yeah, Yeah, her midhaven is in Taurus. So I would if I was her, I would definitely look back to the last couple of years that she's had since November 21st of 2021. Because she had the North Node going over her 10th house, which meant like a lot of career changes. Let's focus on home, more focus on her career. Yeah, I do think she's about to go through a major career change. I do. And I don't feel like she followed her. Like, this is why she's unhappy. Yeah, because, okay. So when it comes to your natal chart, it's built off of the zodiac signs, and it's 12 zodiac signs. And every house number represents something different. It has different themes. So you have like 1 and 6, 2 and 8, 3 and 9, 4 and 10, 5 and 11, 6 and 12, right? In terms of houses, like it comes off in pairs. And so Raji has had the North Node, which is the planet of destiny. The North Node changes signs every 2 years. So when the North Node was in Taurus, ever since November 2021, that's when gas prices went up. That's when housing prices went up. That's when the cost of food and eggs went up. Like, because all of those is Taurus themes, right? And the South Node was in Scorpio. So the North Node is transiting through her 10th house, and the South Node was in her 4th house. I can most definitely speak on this because I had the North Node in my 4th house with the South Node going through my 10th house. Because again, the 4th house and the 10th house is connected. So I have Taurus in my 4th house. And again, wherever the North Node is, that's where more energy is put. And then it's less energy wherever the South Node is, which is the opposite house. So when I had the North Node going through my 4th house, it was a lot of moving, like move like over like, ooh, child. Ooh. Probably altogether, probably like 13, 14 times in the span of a couple of years, like since 2021. But it was like so much energy placed into the house and like not as much energy placed into the career. Taraji had the opposite, right? She had the North Node going through her 10th house of career. And so it was less focused on the home for her. So it was more about, okay, like career themes coming up, like could have been promotions or just opportunities, whatever. But like with the North Node, it can bring challenges because the whole point is to like push you further into your destiny and where you're supposed to be. Now that I know that the North Node was transiting her 10th house of career, she should be getting to a place where she's the most happiest she's ever been. The fact that she's still sad tells me a lot. Now, for me, in terms of housing, it's still unstable, like literally in this last year alone. And mind you, the North Node has since been in Aries since the summer. We're no longer in that Taurus Scorpio energy, so the themes have changed. But at least I have a better, clear idea that, okay, things are going to work out and that it's no longer going to be chaotic and unstable in terms of living situation for me because the North Node was in my 4th house of home. For Taraji, it scares me a little bit because she's still in that emotional place of the upheaval and the chaos. And also, Uranus is going through her 10th house. And Uranus represents plot twists and chaos and upheaval. So there's a lot of career changes. And I feel like Taraji is fighting those changes. So everything that I said the last 20 minutes about how I feel like she is going to end up doing a video later on where she has an epiphany that her career needs to be something different, or like that she was holding herself back, she's gonna have that. Because literally, like, looking at her chart, the universe is trying to tell her, like, girl, change your career. Like, like it's plain as day. Uranus is in Taurus. Wherever in your house, and you can even think about your own life, where in your life have you experienced the most upheaval and chaos the last couple of years? If you've moved a lot, then you probably have Taurus in your 4th house. If you've had different jobs, then you probably have Taurus in your 10th house. If your health has been all over the place, then it's possible you could have Taurus in your 6th house. If you've had a lot of money come and go out, it's possible you could have Taurus in your 2nd or 8th house. If you've had a lot of fluctuations when it comes to relationships the last couple of years, or just like your identity and a lot of identity changes, it's possible you could have Taurus in your 1st or 7th house. If you've had like a lot of friendship issues, maybe new friends coming and going, then you could have Taurus in your 11th house. Taraji has Taurus in her 10th house, along with Uranus, the planet of confusion and chaos, and the North Node was transiting there. And basically, when the North Node transits, it's to get you to learn lessons, and it's uncomfortable. And Uranus, again, being plot twist and confusion and chaos and all of that, basically, things came up for her to learn and learn the lesson, but she's refusing to because she's holding on to this idea of what it's supposed to look like. And that's where that Capricorn energy comes back into play, because Capricorn is very much like logic. It's complete logic. There's zero intuition, but it's complete logic. It's about what does it look like on paper? And on paper, her life is supposed to look a certain way, because as a rising Leo, I'm supposed to be an entertainer. I'm supposed to be out there, center of attention. Like Leo is literally ruled by the sun, which is all about outward shining energy. It's ego. And so her ego is telling her, I'm supposed to be out there. I'm supposed to be center of attention. The world is supposed to be focused on me. And, this is my career, this, that, and the third. Meanwhile, you got Uranus and North Node transit in her 10th house, bringing all of these career changes to say, hey, girl, the way you're going about your career is not the way it's supposed to be. Something needs to shift. You need to start looking into other positions or other places in Hollywood. Maybe you're not meant to be an actress. Maybe you're meant to teach acting. Maybe you're meant to be a director. Maybe you need to get into having your own company. Maybe you need to get into, starting, and I'm not saying that maybe she doesn't need to be an actress. That's a huge possibility. But the way that she is in Hollywood, it needs to change. It has to change for her own destiny, for her own growth. It just has to. So what that looks like, we'll find out over time. Again, it could be her teaching, acting. It could be her directing. It could be her writing scripts. It could even be her, like helping other people to become actors. Like maybe she's an acting scout. Who knows? But it has to change. And she's going against it. And that's why she's unhappy. That's why she's unhappy, because she's not paying attention to what the North Node has tried to teach her over the last couple of years, what Uranus has tried to teach her over the last couple of years. And instead of like looking at it like, okay, life is happening for me and not to me, she's victimizing herself. And the reason why she's victimizing herself is because she works in the entertainment industry. The entertainment industry, again, is the 5th house, because it's the fifth house is all about arts and entertainment and your passions. And she has Capricorn in her 5th house. Capricorn energy, again, is all about structure, boundaries, but like very much like, does it look good on paper? But she also has her moon there. Moon energy is all about emotions. So even though all of these circumstances and situations is coming up for her to change, having Capricorn in her 5th house, basically it's like, well, as long as it looks good, as long as I'm still getting paid, as long as the work is still coming in, then I'm fine. And the universe is saying to her, no longer calmly, but they're literally screaming at her like, girl, no, bitch. It's not as long as you're getting paid, no, you cannot keep going like this. You cannot. That Capricorn energy, having logic, it's like that's gonna be the death of you. As long as you're getting paid 150,000, well, as long as they're meeting my minimum, as long as no, as long as you keep getting fucked over, that's all that's gonna keep happening. As long as you keep overlooking the fact that you're getting fucked over because somebody's meeting your minimum, because XYZ is happening, like you're gonna continue to just be unhappy. Yeah, this shit is crazy. It's crazy how deep astrology goes. Y'all need to book a reading with me. I swear you do. And then the fact that she's a Virgo sun doesn't help. She's a Virgo sun, Leo rising, Capricorn moon, and she's a life path number 1. I'm a life path number 1. Life path number 1 is all about passion. Okay, put it this way. A life path number 8 would be somebody like Candy, where it's all about money, power, respect. I always like to say, yeah, life path number 8 is money, power, respect, and life path number 1 is passion, power, respect. And I'm a life path number 1. So it's like there's no I in team. You got to learn how to collaborate with other people. You're meant to be a leader, meant to be a CEO, meant to be an entrepreneur. Usually kind of like the black sheep, like everything is like tailored to you and your path, because you're meant to lead and break down barriers. And right now, Taraji's not being much of a leader, let alone in her own life. She's going along to get along. Again, that Capricorn moon energy in her 5th house. Like, if your life path is number 1 in numerology, and that's all about passion, power, and respect. And then you have Capricorn, which is boundaries, structure, restrictions in your 5th house of passion and entertainment. It's a total contradiction. Because Capricorn energy is go along to get along, just blend in with the crowd. But then as a rising Leo, and rising signs, like your rising sign is all about how you come off to the world, how you appear. As a rising Leo, it's all about your ego and being seen, right? So as a rising Leo, you want to be seen, you want to be full of passion, having a life path number 1 in numerology, you are full of passion, you are a leader, but that Capricorn moon energy inside of your 5th house is like, I gotta fall in line. I gotta do what these, what Hollywood tells me. I gotta do what I gotta do to keep a job, to keep my head above water. And it's a conflict of interest. And again, North Node being in Taurus, Uranus transiting Taurus the last couple of years in that 10th house of career, it was literally the universe saying, hey, listen, the way that you've been moving, stop it. You're not being innovative. You're not being a leader. You're not doing what the fuck you're supposed to be here doing. You're not here to play follow the leader. You're here to break down barriers. And, maybe her speaking up about the unequal pay. Maybe it'll hit different for her because the planets support her speaking up, versus a Monique. Because going back to the whole Monique thing, that's also another part of it that, again, a lot of people don't understand because a lot of people aren't into astrology, but that's also a part of it. 2 people can do something, but it'll be 2 completely different reactions based off of what their natal charts are. That's why you can have like a set of twins and they can be completely different because their whole chart is set up differently. Or you could have 2 people that's a Taurus or 2 people that's a Scorpio and they're completely night and day because one could be a rising Libra and the other one could be like a rising Pisces and their personalities are completely different. So, Monique's chart could be supported in a way where she's a complete rebel, but nobody takes her seriously. Whereas Taraji P's chart could be, she's meant to be a rebel, but from her fear of nobody taking her seriously, she never actually gets to that potential. And then her lifetime is spent fighting that and overcoming that fear. And that's also a little bit of part of it because her natal North Node is in Pisces, but we're not going to do a full deep dive. Listen, I said we was going to do a full deep dive and we already at our end, child. I'm going to just say, listen, the longer that Taraji P is fighting the universe, the longer she's going to keep going through this because it's time for her to step up and be a leader. And she keeps playing by other people's rules and it's not working. And the best way to simplify all of this and give an example in terms of like real life reality is Taraji P is working at McDonald's. Every single time that she tries to go and clock into her shift, she's noticing that she's working 7 days a week. Okay, 2 more days than she should, but yet her paychecks are less than other people. She got other people being able to call out of work, and when she want to call out of work, she can't. She getting yelled at. Food getting taken out of the fridge. Like the wheels on her car might be blowing out every 2 days. Like I said, she going to the job, showing up to work extra days for less pay. Like all of these signs that maybe this isn't the best situation for you and you are being taken advantage of. But because she insists on working that job instead of stepping out of fear and stepping into faith. Okay, let's bring that back. Okay, my quote from 2016, stepping out of fear, stepping into faith. Instead of her stepping out of fear and stepping into faith, she's going through these conditions, knowing that she's unhappy. When the universe is really like, no, baby, it's time for you to stop working that job and go try something else. Like you're sitting here trying to be an employee when you're meant to be the boss. You're meant to be the CEO. So I try to explain that as best as I could. I mean, the more that I try to mix these commentary topics in with astrology and spirituality, the better that I'll get at being able to explain it. It takes time. This is new for me. Because it's either I do a commentary video or I do a straight spiritual video. Like, it's getting new for me to mix the two. And then, because with spirituality videos, people already know what to expect. especially for like a zodiac reading, but for like commentary videos, everybody doesn't follow deep dive astrology. So I'm getting used to explaining and trying to like, hopefully it comes across easy for people because I want to explain it in a way where it's like for dummies. But I hope y'all enjoy this. Like I said 40 minutes ago, leave them white people alone. Ain't shit changing until they die out. Focus on their kids. And that's how I feel about any and everything, especially containing the government, these laws, everything. Like, y'all be too worried about the wrong shit and the wrong people. Stop trying to convince these 90-year-old motherfuckers to do what you want them to do. Focus on their goddamn kids. That's going to be the new generation that you're going to have to worry about. Okay? And until then, get on these black billionaires. Because what is Tyler doing with his money? What's Diddy doing with his money? What's Jay-Z doing with his money? What's Oprah doing with his money? Okay? Like, come on now. Come on now. Come on now. And understand, too, if you're going to be a Tubi star and a Tyler Perry movie star, understand that you're not going to have a career of a Meryl Streep. It's just not. It's just not. It's just not. And if you feel like you on Empire and you at the peak of your career and it's still not working, then baby, it's time to take a step back and say, what am I doing wrong? Because just because you got the talent don't mean that you've been to go that far. It's a lot of people that could cook, but that don't mean you need to go open up a damn restaurant. Okay? So like I said, bookmark this video. Because when Taraji come out and say what I told y'all she gonna say, or we find out that Taraji is pulling a Tiana Taylor and she either retiring from acting or getting into directing, or I'm gonna say I told y'all so. That North Node going through that 10th house, especially with Uranus there, those are big changes that are coming. Big changes. Think back to your life. Think whether you know where Taurus is sitting in your natal chart or you don't, think back to your life. Did you go through a lot of identity changes the last couple of years? Was it relationship ups and downs? Was it financial ups and downs? Was it a lot of debts, maybe taxes? Was a lot of people dying in your life? Was it friendships? Or was it career changes? Was it job changes? Was it health changes? Was it friendship changes? Everybody was affected in one way or another. Like in huge ways. And if you think back to those experiences that you've had over the last couple of years, since like 2021, hell, really the last 12, but like since like 2021, those are changes that will affect you for the rest of your life. But I love each and every one of y'all. Definitely let me know down in the comment box below what y'all thought about all of this. Shout out to Spirit. It's 111. Okay. 111. I want angel numbers. Okay. Let me know what y'all thought about all of this in the comment box below as if I get fun. And definitely make sure you stream my music as if you get fun. Okay. I love each and every one of y'all. Allegedly. And HD audio. I'll see you in the next one.
Universal bad bitch, everybody language, everybody knows she the mud bad bad. Universal bad bitch, everybody language, everybody knows she the mud bad bad. Universal bad bitch, everybody language, everybody knows she the mud bad bad. Universal bad bitch, everybody language, everybody knows she the mud bad bad. Fuck it up, love it how they cutting up. Now these niggas swimming up, it wasn't when I'm coming up. Fuck it up, love it how they cutting up. Now these niggas swimming up,